Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to the Today's Restaurant News Networking Group. Thank you all for coming. We have a new person on the board this morning, and I'd like to introduce you to him. And John, if you would, tell us a little bit about yourself. John Brandis.
Should have been quicker on the mute button there, but yeah, thank you, Howard, and thank you, everybody. My name's John Brandis, and I have a company that I founded about 6 months ago called Sales Bounty Hunter. And what we do is we help with recruiting. So if you have people that you're needing to bring onto your team, we can help go out there and find them in this rather difficult hiring market. I'm sure everybody's been dealing with that on their end. Happy to help, and frankly, consult and answer any questions I can. Anybody needs anything. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Okay, thanks. I'm trying to decide which thing I want to do next. You know what I'm doing? I'm gonna ask everybody. We'll go around the room, ask everybody to tell us what you do, so that John gets the benefit of that, and then we have a mystery presenter today.
Ooh. Exciting.
So let's start out with John Mccabe.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Mccabe. I work with a company called Carpet Johnny. We make frozen dessert and pastry equipment. We go to market by education. We have classes, hands-on classes in North Carolina, in Chicago, in New York, and now we're offering one in Spanish in Miami. I'm available to help you with any frozen dessert programs you like in your restaurant or college or university. Just give us a call. Thank you very much.
Thank you. John Brandis, where are you located?
I'm in Palm Beach Gardens,
Okay.
Servicing mostly Palm Beach County, but really can do placements all over. I've done one in California, for example. So,
love the background.
thank you. The background is New Hampshire.
Very nice. That's why I like it.
At the end of the meeting, John, I will send everybody a spreadsheet with all the contact information and names of everybody that's here, so you don't have to go crazy writing notes. And Darren, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Darren Gull, Tracy.net. We're a communications consulting and solution provider. We help people with a free consultation to take a look at their current situation and how it's meeting their needs, identify aches and pains that can easily be removed and addressed with the right solution. We have our own state-of-the-art cloud platform, as well as we work with all the other carriers in the industry. So we're guaranteed to offer people the right solution at the right price within their budget. Tracy.net.
Thank you. John Bunn, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see y'all. My name is John Bunn. I'm with the BH Bunn Company. Many know us from tying bakery boxes in all the different bakery restaurants around the country. It's not limited to that. And we're now looking into different restaurant industries as they obsolete all the plastic bags, and you don't really have a good way to secure products. So our machines can tie up pizza boxes, just literally anything you can think of. We're located in Lakeland, Florida. Glad to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. John Mulholland, the sports fanatic.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Chris is out. His girlfriend had to go to the ER. So, John, what we do in a nutshell is we get a descending report for the last 60 days purchases from restaurants, and we go back with them, show them how much money they can save, and we take a portion of that savings, generally anywhere from 10 to 15% off what they're currently paying. So we're looking for clients that spend a minimum of $2 million in purchases per year. So a 4 or 5 chain restaurant on up to as big as they can get. So we are not a distributor, we're a broker. We work with the distributors. So the chain doesn't stop, same delivery, same exact food product. And on a side note, might have your billboards up today.
Say that again?
I might have your billboards up today,
Really?
as early as today. Debbie and I are working on that to promote
That's-
the whole group.
I resent the files as JPEGs
Yeah,
to Brandon. Yeah.
that should work.
Can you copy me on it?
What I'll
Oh,
do, is we have cameras on the artwork or actually up on the billboard.
On the artwork, and then
I
later on.
sent it to you, Howard, but I can I'll send you the link.
Okay, I didn't see it.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll resend it.
It's always valuable to have a billboard guy in your group.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Peter, good morning.
Good morning, Peter Robinson, Hudson Robinson Business Brokerage. I'm located in Boca Raton. I work on restaurants and also other types of businesses. I actually have a sub shop in Homestead. Should you know somebody who would like this type of business, anyone would like to get an idea of what their business is worth, you're welcome to have them call me. There's no fee for me to take over, take a look at all their numbers. Nice to see everybody here. Good morning.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Debbie, tell us what you really do.
Well, we'll be here all day. I am Debbie Cruz with DK Consulting. I work with owners, managers, and staff to empower them to make the right decisions on the spot, as well as prepare them for the shift, get them ready for their season, make sure that their value of the restaurant is matching and reflecting in their everyday service. I love to come into restaurants and let them know that I'm part of this amazing restaurant group. And there's a whole group of experts that can help them support their restaurant in many different ways to help them from a bad Yelp review. And I'm just sort of the driver to get that in that door. And sort of jumping on board and doing a lot of marketing and getting myself back together because I had fell out of the restaurant space for a while. So that's where I'm at. Debbie Cruz at DK Consulting.
Thank you. I did send a copy of that ad to everybody in the group. So please use it in your social media. Post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and let's talk it up because combined, we've got a huge area of people that can see it. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, everybody. Jeremy Ben Israel with the Centropy Business Solutions. And what I do is I work with C-level execs, business owners, decision makers, helping them save their company money, lower their expenses on all operating expenses a business has, shipping, accounts payables, utility, credit card merchant processing. I work with all industries, but focusing on restaurants and the hospitality sector, hotels, etc. I also help the employer, the business owner, better hire and retain their staff, offering an instant pay option to their employees. So Jeremy Ben Israel, Centropy Business Solutions. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Sean, good morning.
Good morning. I'm in Montreal today, so greetings to everybody. We basically have got a small little eco-friendly device that sits inside the deep fryers in the kitchens of restaurants, bars, hotels. I'm sure most of us here know a hotel, a bar, or a restaurant that are using deep fryers. And in the last 12 months, the cost of cooking oil has tripled. Well, our device typically will help people to double the amount of food production that they can get per pound or per liter of oil, effectively saving them around 50% on monthly oil purchases. In most cases, that's somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 per year. Our device lasts for 3 years, so the return is pretty significant. We're always looking for referrals and happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori, good morning again.
Good morning, everyone. ARF Financial. I can help your restaurant clients with working capital, a revolving line of credit. If they are wanting to expand, renovate, it's great for a good return on investment. If they, need to consolidate debt, any type of financial things involving the restaurant. And I have partners that can help with equipment, SBA, so any of their financial needs, I'd be happy to help.
Thank you. I actually did speak to a restaurant equipment dealer this morning who was a former member of our group when we were meeting in person prior to COVID. He is enlarged his business, moved to a new location, and he's involved in a lot of big projects. And he is slated to come join the group again, perhaps next week. So,
Yeah.
so
He would be a great partner for me. Like Brian and I and the other group, we work a lot together.
right.
Oh, that's funny. This gentleman's name is Ryan. You should have fun. Oh, Ryan and Brian.
Ryan and Brian.
Yeah, he's terrific. You'll love him.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward
Yes.
to it.
Okay. Helen, our one non-supplier person.
Hi, I'm Helen Goddessman. I am half the team of Delicious Spoonfuls and Amazing Abilities. And Delicious Spoonfuls is a nonprofit. Amazing Abilities is our profit arm. We are working on finding more employment for people with special needs, including Down syndrome, autism, mental illness, by creating jobs in ice cream carts that will be traveling around with coaches. And we're starting our first, God willing, in the next few weeks. We're just looking still for the right carts at the right prices and of course funding for such projects. My husband was trying to get on, but he is not very technical and it couldn't get on. Anyway, I just sent out some YouTube videos online, and if anybody's interested in that, I could share that with you. It's under deliciousspoonfuls.org. And love to speak with you about things you could help us with.
Rob
you.
contacted me during the week. He said he was looking for something, so I put him in touch with James from this group from Aramark. I don't know. I hope they connected. James said he was
didn't
going to
mention
call
it.
him.
Okay.
James wasn't able to make
And
it.
the
today.
contact you gave me, the guy, I called him 3 times, different times of the day, and I have not gotten a call back. So even if he called and said, sorry, I can't help you, would have been better, but
Yeah, that's strange because he always calls back.
I don't know.
I'll check with him later.
Okay.
That's Toby, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll check.
He's got a thing today, and they were getting ready yesterday.
Okay.
He has he has the auction.
Usually
today.
his auctions are on Tuesday.
No, he's got, Jessica said that they're doing another one. They were busy
Okay.
the whole week. That's why, probably why.
Okay, I called last week, but whatever.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay. John Marinak, good morning.
Hi, good morning. John Marinick, Marinick Food Service Consultants. We basically are consulting and designs for the restaurant industry. If you need your place designed or you need your place, laid out in any way, or you having problems at the restaurant, just give us a call. Thanks.
Thank you. Terry, good morning.
Good morning. Today's restaurant news, handling leads reports. I'm gonna do them a little bit differently from here on in. But what we do as a team, we send out a monthly leads report by the 9th. We have one for Florida and Georgia. Texas is now being rediscussed for you, Sean. I'll speak to you later on that. However, we get those leads out to you. We tell you who is opening where. And let me tell you what, there's a lot of stuff coming in. A lot of stuff coming in. Florida seems to have taken over many of the states as far as leading restaurants closing. There's another one right behind it. We've been invited to 2 of the openings. Luckily for Howard, one is ice cream. But we will, we
Oh,
send those
John.
out.
Tell John
We let-
McCabe the name of that restaurant, the name of that place.
I gave them to him and they are already set up with their second location and ready to open next weekend. I did go over there. They were using the same supplier they used on their first. But I will give him that because who knows? I mean, anyway, so we let you know who was opening, when, where, about when, email addresses, phone numbers, etc. And we do the best we can at get you the to get the correct information. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay, thanks. Mark Wagner, good morning.
Good morning. Mark Wagner here with Pack-A-Drum, and we do several things, but mostly we help restaurants and business owners save money on energy through a direct replacement motor for their rooftop air conditioning units, reducing energy usage by about 58% on average. People don't believe that when you say that high a number, but we just got a report back from McDonald's owner operator that they hit 57. So very doable. It's just a matter of if they have rooftop air conditioning units or if they have trash, that we can help them crush that into a different size through a manually operated patented compactor that we invented in our own restaurants. So been there, been in the industry, know how hard it is to make a dollar. We can save any restaurateur, let's say $10,000 in a year on various things. That's the equivalency of about $200,000 in sales. It's about a 20 to 1x. So you got to know their pain points and that they are on tight margins. So doing that, we also they can pay for equipment through a leasing hybrid energy efficiency program where they actually pay out of the savings, then they own the equipment at the end of the term. They don't have to have money in order to make money and save money. Appreciate your time, and any referrals are always welcome.
Okay, thank you. John Brandis, anything else you want to circle back and add now that you see what we do?
No, I think I've said it in the earlier thing, but salesbountyhunter.com if anyone wants to reach out, and love to connect on LinkedIn as well, and happy to be here.
I'm going to ask you the question that I asked this morning to our recruiter. In this economic time and this employee retention time, how important and do you see other companies getting involved with employee benefits?
Great question. I will do my best to speak to it from what I view as my limited experience, but I think more and more employees are demanding more and more benefits. And so I tend to work with employees across the spectrum, everything from kind of entry level people that don't have a lot of skills or experience coming kind of right out of high school, all the way to people with advanced degrees, whether law or MBAs, that type of thing, seeking and knowing what they're worth and what the marketplace will pay. And my joke is that the folks with no experience want to make $100,000 a year and get full benefits and work remotely.
Sure.
But broadly speaking, I don't have a lot of connections in the provider side of that equation. But one company I've been working with, I just started working with them in January, and they were basically treating their employees like contractors, 1099 employees. And over the last few months, they've seen what a difficult hiring market it's been, and they've been able to roll out medical benefits. They're working on 401k plan. So, and they're seeing a lot more traction and I think retention as well as a result of that. So on the hiring side, it makes it a lot easier to sell them as a place to work. And on the existing employee side, I think it helps with retention as well.
Okay. Terry and I went out to dinner last night at a national chain Italian restaurant, national chain. And for us, it was a later than normal dinner. We got there about a 7:45, and we were seated in a room with 2 other tables, and the place was primarily empty. And it's a big place. And we had one waiter who was handling 4 tables and could barely handle it. So I wasn't blaming him. I was blaming management for not training him in the proper way. I mean, he came, he took our order, he asked us for drink. We gave him the drink order, delivered them late, brought a salad in a big bowl that we were to share, didn't bring plates for the salad. You know, stuff like that, that just drive you a little bit nuts. And I think that's the labor pool that we have now. That's your college kids looking for a gig job. So that's
Howard, I had a bad experience this week. I met a referral partner out at this restaurant. He was there waiting for me, and he was sitting down waiting, and I come in and we're talking for 10 minutes, and the hostess said, you know, are you here to eat? And we said, oh yes. And it was like now 11:45. She said, we don't open till, it's 10 to 12. We don't open it till noon. Okay, well, we can wait. No, you have to leave. She couldn't say, here's a glass of water. And the table was white. There was silverware sitting there wrapped up. And so, I mean, you walk out the door, there's 4 restaurants in the same strip mall. And this was like 10 to 12. It was just she was the hostess, not the server, but you would think, hey, here's some water. We were just talking. No, you have to leave. Not sorry. I mean, it was so bad. And this guy is a client, and lucky for him, we actually went into his other restaurant that opened at 11:30, but I just couldn't believe it, how short-sighted. I mean, this lady, we could have been a party at 10. I bet you she would have done the same thing. I mean, it's shocking the way people think,
Well, you go.
I would say sorry for the mix-up. Let me think. What is server's going to be here? In like 10 minutes, you're going to be the first one. It's ridiculous.
Go back in a couple of weeks. They won't be there. You'll have a new client.
It is so. Well, this guy, he does kill it. He's doing like over 3 million between his 2 little places. So this is just a one-off, probably bad hostess, but it was just really surprising.
When we walked into the restaurant last night, it was really, you could tell it was quiet, and the host was ready to seat us. And I said, well, it's a good thing you're still open, because we have a party at 22. And this was like 8 o'clock. And he looked at me and he panicked. I said, no, I'm only kidding. He almost went through the floor. Anyhow, this is what restaurateurs are up against now. Kids that are coming in who are taking the job, quitting 10 days later, hiring somebody else and training them on the fly. So and this is Debbie's specialty, customer service. That restaurant that Lori was in, it just lost 2 customers, and maybe 4. And she just told all of us that we're not going to go. So
Yeah,
it's a very slippery slope when some things like that happen.
Yeah, I think they should one thing they should teach them. I mean, they don't have time to teach them much, but just empower them. Like, think of this as your restaurant, and how would you treat these people? Is money in your pocket walking out the door? And a lot of times too, my daughter works at this ice cream shop. The employees don't care. It's like, and I've walked into restaurants late and wanted to get some, even they stop answering the phone. They don't want to. They don't treat the people that walk in 5 minutes. And I've been in some very nice restaurants and gone in at 1:45 because, you have an emergency. It was Valentine's Day. We got the worst service, the worst food at one of the top Buckhead restaurants because it was late. And if you're open till 11, you should serve quality food and provide quality service up until the moment that you close.
Right. Yeah.
No, it
So
drives
the
me.
seating app.
Yeah.
Howard, my daughter worked at a family-run Italian restaurant, and she just recently moved to work at a quick serve franchise, chain, without mentioning the names. But she said how so much seamless, how so much smoother all the operations are, and how the staff is working together. And in the previous restaurant, the family-run one, I really feel like with lack of continuity and just kids not caring, they're just there for the paycheck and nothing else. You're right. If they had some vested interest, it would be a win-win. But they don't care. And some restaurants are successful despite themselves, not because of what they do.
Right.
And we're seeing that. So good points all around.
Did they serve pastrami sandwich with cream cheese?
I don't think they had that. And if they did, it probably wasn't that good. So whatever.
Can I share one more worst story? This was at a very high-end Buckhead restaurant. It was New Year's Eve, and nobody even believes me this happened, but they have this guy was brand new. It was like 5 minutes to 12, and we're sitting there waiting. I'm just like, just champagne, please get the champagne, just bring it over. He's trying to hack into this champagne bottle with a wine opener, digging it into the champagne, and we're just like, and I never complained anytime because I want them as a customer or they're my customer, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is like a twist. It was just shocking. He was digging an opener into New Year's Eve. Finally, I think I did get to about 12:02, but it's just amazing.
All right. Anybody else?
I was just going to say that if you look at the chain restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, et cetera, everything is proceduralized from step 1 to step 12. So there's no room to make mistakes. You either do it and follow it or you don't. And I don't think the smaller restaurants have the ability to put that together. So it's more a challenge of having that passion as an owner. To the more welcoming you are to your employees, the more welcoming they're going to be to their customers. So if an employer views them as a number, they're going to be treating their customers as a number. If you treat them as a person, they're going to treat the customers as a person. So it really comes down to having a culture of good customer service by the owner, and you displaying it. People are going to do what you do, not what you say. So it's really a matter of, what you say on and off the record matters, and it's making sure that culture is defined by your actions as an owner.
That's true.
Best one I see is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Out there. They really have their people trained pretty well.
Well, I always talk about Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse has its tremendous employee benefits, and they always have, their staff is always cheerful, friendly, helpful, and it's it's a pleasurable experience.
Chick-fil-A is definitely a different model because the owners only are allowed typically 2. Some might have 3. That's it. And so they're running them very hands-on, and they train their staff because they make 50% of any profits made above net costs. So they're highly incentivized, and they only paid $5,000 to get the franchise. They build the building, they give them that asset to run, then they make profits on it. And the $5,000 is actually repayable back if you ever leave the system.
Wow.
As long as they're a good Christian.
That is true. Yeah. To get through.
Sunday. Absolutely.
Not for me. Thanks.
Oh, you can't open them on Sunday. They won't let
No.
you. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they did it, but you think about it, they're doing
You have to admire that.
$4.5 million is the average sales of a Chick-fil-A, and they do it with 52 less days than McDonald's, Burger King, all them. So the average for McDonald's is about now approaching 3. So they're actually getting tons more volume through in the 6 days than everybody else is in 7.
Just something to keep in mind. Most people, well, I don't know about most, but a lot of people are not motivated, believe it or not, by money. They're motivated by positive feedback. They're motivated by a gift or something like that. So if I've seen this in other industries when I was working as a consultant, employers can create all kinds of awards for their employees to recognize a job well done. And now with businesses, we're going into a recession. There's going to be a lot of inventory around. There's going to be a lot of merchandise available at reasonable prices. So if you have an employee of the month, give them a 32-inch TV, something like that. That is huge motivation. That's besides money, obviously, besides the cash. It's just to keep somebody on who's good and motivate them to do a better job, and they'll teach the other people.
In White Castle, they do where everybody's a shareholder. And I went in, trained them all in Chicago and went back. And the woman goes, "Oh, you're that guy that talked trash to us and everything. I love what you do." And I said, "That's interesting. Why is that?" She goes, "Well, I'm an owner." And she's a cashier. She goes, "I've worked for the company for 25 years. They give me a turkey at Thanksgiving. They give me a ham every Christmas. And I get a bonus check because they pay based on our profits and everything. So they get, a certain amount, whatever that is. They don't leave. These people all retire 25, 30 years, and they're still owners in the company. So very interesting model, that people are emulating, like In-N-Out Burger on the West Coast. They've got unbelievable managers. They make $140,000 to $185,000 a year as a manager of a fast food restaurant.
That fast food restaurant is #1 in America. And there's a reason for it. That's the first place I stop when I go home.
Same.
In-N-Out.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is actually in the South Bronx, and I specifically go to that one because of their customer service and the drive-through. They're like so nice and sweet, and you would not pick that location.
Is it In-N-Out?
No, I'm sorry. He originally said White Castle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's White Castle. I shifted.
What do they
Yeah,
get?
White
for
Castle
turkeys?
is-
Sorry. I got stuck in White Castle. Sorry.
I don't blame
Oh, yeah.
you.
You have to be
I'm
in
like,
the Northeast
how
to
can I-
get to the White Castles. Then the other ones pigeoned off from like Texas, they won't go any further than Texas on In-N-Out. So they're both in their own hyper markets, their own
I
markets.
know.
They opened one in Orlando and the White Castle, and I was talking to some of their directors of operation. They're flying people down from any of the stores that wants to go down, paying for their flights. As a manager, you have to run it for a week. You're in there helping other managers because they're doing $10 million of sliders and fries, which is just a ton of food. So they're burning out their staff. So they'll give somebody a vacation. If they work for a week, they get a week paid, and they get all the, go to Disney, you want to go to Universal, they buy them all tickets. Oh, I'm talking, it's a big, they're that kind of company. So very different.
White Castle?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
White Castle is the first fast food restaurant.
And
it-
the first burger one.
And it started in Kansas. Fun quick story. There's none in Kansas, even though it started there. Guy was on the grill and he was doing meatballs. Okay, he put the meatballs on the grill. Guy goes, "Hey, I'm in a hurry. Can you cook it any faster?" Takes a spatula and smashes it. And that's how the slider started.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm a White Castle fanatic. When I drove up to Illinois, I stopped in Clarksville, Tennessee, closest White Castle, on the way up and on the way back.
We had a White Castle where I grew up, and when I left, I moved out of the country for 5 years, and occasionally we come back to visit. My friend and I got off the plane from Montreal, and our first stop wasn't with our family, it was right to White Castle. First stop.
Well, and the funny thing is about the two corporations, they're both female-run presidents that are legacies or family line. So I think White Castle's up to, she's either third generation or fourth, and out on the West Coast, she's second generation. And they run those organizations extremely well, like amazing, compared to my other restaurant groups I work with.
Which shall be nameless.
I think that that's going to be a sign of the future, because in order for restaurants to keep people, they're going to have to make them important, happy, and well-trained. Because if they're not well-trained, they're not getting us to come in to eat. So the benefits of our group to a restaurateur, it will grow daily now, because all these problems are going to arise, and restaurants are going to be faced with situations and problems that they will need help to solve. And that's why we're here. We are a networking group for ourselves. We're a networking group to provide information to the industry and to help the industry go through some of these hard times. That's what we're all about.
I got a quick question, Howard.
Sure.
For everybody, are we seeing more restaurants close now or open?
Both.
I was
Gonna
going to
say
say
equal
both.
numbers. Yeah, equal
I
numbers.
do this all day long, and I promise you it's both. As soon as one closes, I've got a contractor ready to either tear the ground down or demo it or whatever and start all over with a new one.
Here's my thought on that. If a restaurant goes out of business and they have a full kitchen, operating kitchen, and they go out of business, and it's there for the next tenant. So people who are opening restaurants now can walk into a kitchen that's fully set up. They don't have to spend for an exhaust system. They don't have to spend money for the ranges and everything else that goes into a kitchen. Of course, there'll be adjustments and layout, etc. But you can walk into a pretty much set up place to go. All you do is change the decor, put your staff in, and you're off and running. So you're getting in much cheaper. So every restaurant that closes is an opportunity for somebody to open. And that's exactly what happens. Somebody closes and Joey's uncle comes in because he makes the best, who knows, whatever.
Yeah, we call
Or-
them second generations in commercial real estate. So people like to search for second generation restaurants. Makes it easier to help put the grease trap in,
Yeah.
got all the equipment in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working with a lot of restaurants. They're actively looking for those type of opportunities. And from what I'm hearing, they're far and few between, hard to get. You got to jump on them very quickly because it is such a savings to jump in. So
Time first, size of money.
It's a tremendous opportunity. I'm sure Peter sees this in it.
I wanted to add something to this. This is a very interesting discussion. And new restaurant owners open up their business on hope. Usually less cash than they need, but a lot of hope. And that's the problem. And for $500,000, you can buy a restaurant that puts in your pocket $250,000 a year. And if you had an empty bay or whatever, it would, from start to finish, depending upon how large everything is, it can cost you $350,000 to $500,000 just to open. So, my motto is really, it's better to buy an average business and make it better than to start from scratch, especially in Florida, because our population varies so greatly during summer. Anyway, we're almost near the end of time. I don't want to go over. That's my thought in the matter.
Okay.
I think some of it with the openings and closings has to do with people's short attention span these days. People get excited about something and then it wears off. And so you always have to be reinventing. So I know, some restaurants we've worked with reinvent themselves. So they literally will close, rebrand and reopen with another menu. And that seems to be a pretty common thing as well.
I was just going to say the same thing because I am seeing that where I live. A restaurant just closed and rebranded themselves and opened up as a totally different industry. Cuisine, I'm sorry. I'm also noticing a few restaurants are jumping on a train, opening another location, because now the hot new thing seems to be these pop-up ramen shops. And I mean, I've seen them in the city for years, but not in my area. And so I've seen 2 restaurants in my area opening up another location and just focused on ramen. So I found that extremely interesting, but I see that popularity coming up a lot more in my area in New York.
Pop-ups are very big.
Bar last.
Yes.
What'd you say, John?
I said, you know how long the average bar lasts?
Like 10 minutes?
5 years.
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
So that's been a study been out for years. The guy knew that, so he would change his concept every 3 years.
You know why?
Boredom.
Because in the old days, when I was manufacturing restaurant equipment, we used to manufacture bar sinks and put them into all the bars in New York City. And you had to have 3 compartments in the sink. And the first bay of the sink is rinse. Then the next one is sanitize, and the third one is rinse. Well, at those days, the beer was $0.25. This is my father's time. And every time they sold a beer, the bartender would take $0.25, put it in the register. The next one that came in, he'd throw it in one of the bays of the bar sink that was filled up with water. And at the end of the day, he was a partner to the owner. So he was getting 50% of the beers that were being sold.
Wow.
That's another problem. That's where CCTV comes in, so you can watch what's going on.
My grandmother ran a bar on Hotel Street in Honolulu, and they used to talk about how, counting the bottles in the trash at the end of the night to see who was stealing.
Yeah.
And some of the wait staff would start breaking the bottles, but you could still count the necks.
I just to give you how ingenious people can be. My friend used to sell, I don't know if you guys remember, it's a long time ago, but on the beach in New York, Orchard Beach, they had a guy walking the beach with a tank on his back with an orange drink. And he had a sleeve of cups. And if you were sitting there and he walked by, you order a drink and he'd give you the drink and whatever the price was, 25 cents, whatever. And the owner of the company didn't care about the beverage. He cared about the cups, because every cup that was missing, he knew that he had to get paid for.
Right.
Well, my friend, being the ingenious kind of guy, when somebody ordered the drink, he would tell them, save your cup, I'll come back later and give you another drink, for less money. So there's always a way of getting around it.
I went to a baseball game years ago and the guy was saying free beer, but then you got to buy the cup. A lot of truth in that.
No, it's free beer. What was it? There was a. No,
Yeah,
forget.
free
I don't
beer,
remember.
you gotta buy a cup.
Buy cup, but you got to buy the cup.
Yeah.
We had
hold
a
your mouth
woman in
open.
drive-through that was stealing literally $50 to $100 a day, selling drinks out and not putting them into our system. She could actually take and calculate an odd cost drink of 89 cents, $1.38, $1.60, and could calculate the tax and everything and make change. I was surprised that she was that good at math, but we caught her on the cup count.
Well, I think we've reached our time. I want to thank everybody for coming. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, I want you to understand that we are a networking group of experts in the restaurant industry, and we are here to help you and to guide you and to give you information. And if you'd like to attend one of our meetings, please get in touch at, I'll give you info@trnusa.com, and we'll be happy to fit you into the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock meeting. So have a great weekend. See you all next week. And we're not going to be meeting on the 1st of July. That's the holiday weekend. So we'll see you next week. And again, have a great weekend.